Hello again, and thank you for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, please do so. Angela Correnti, YouTube. And today we are on segment 2 of living in a condominium. Last week we talked about budgets, special assessments, and reserves. And today we're going to talk about rules and regulations. So, why do we have rules and regulations in a condominium? Well, can you imagine living in a building where there was no structure, no rules and regulation? It would be kind of chaos. It's no different from rules and regulation that we have in cities and driving on the roads or anything like that. So condominiums have what we call condominium documents that are given to you upon purchase. And if you're doing new purchase, you have 15 days to review those. And unless you're an attorney, a lot of the language in there could be a little jarring because they're so thick and there's so much information there. And if you're buying in a resale, you have 3 days to review those. So it is really important that you have an attorney that if there's something that's important to you, for example, ownership, can it be deeded to somebody? Are there any restrictions that somebody is guiding you? And that should be an attorney, okay? Unless your realtor is an attorney, also has their law license, and they're gonna act as your attorney. So really important, I always stress this, and I'm gonna stress this in every single segment. Make sure you're surrounded by the experts in the field that you need. So in condominium documents, have them reviewed by an attorney. And condominium documents, and I'm going to go to my cheat sheets, they're broken into articles of incorporation, bylaws, and rules and regulations. So it is really important, and I'm going to stress it again, to understand what are the rules of that condominium. And every condominium is different. And sometimes it could be built by the same developer, but they will have different rules. And I'm going to give you an example. In the area that I work in, we have a set of buildings. They're called the English buildings. They were built and they're named after different cities in the UK. And it was the same developer, but he started one project one year. And as the projects go on, they learn different things. So we're talking about 50 years ago here. One building has rules that you cannot ever rent. That's important for you to know. You might want a building that never rents out. You don't want to be in a building that has renters in there. But you might want the ability as an investor to say, well, wait a minute, I want to be able to rent out. So understanding what those bylaws say and those rules is really important because it makes a difference in your investment and what your goal is. There's no right product for everybody. Everybody has different interests. So what's right for me may not be right for you. So every one of these English buildings that we work in, one of them is Cambridge, Oxford, Stratford, the Wellington, Derby. They're really cool, and they're all different. They have different numbers of units in it, but the square footages inside and the layouts are kind of similar. So, but all of them have different rules. So the building that, I happen to live in, you can buy and you can rent right away. The building next door to me, you have to wait 2 years before you're allowed to rent. The building that's on the north side of me, the building on the south side of me, again, built by the same developer, but their rules when they incorporated them, the condo documents, when they incorporated them, they were all different because they had different mindsets depending on the year that they were incorporated. Things change. Things that are built today are very different than they will be in 10 years from now. So on the south side of me, you can't rent at all. And it's a housing for older persons. It's a 55 and older. So that means that one of the owners and residents in that home have to be 55 years old. And some of the 55 and older communities have rules on children. 18 or older can never live, 18 or younger can never live in that condominium full time. There might be visitation restrictions. Some of them in the 55 and older, there's a new community that just built, their age restriction is 21. So the gist of this segment is understand, first off, work with the realtor and say, you need to let them know, because I won't know what you're looking for unless you tell me. So Angie, I want a building that has 0 restrictions. I want to be able to rent it out as an Airbnb. So that's going to already let me know that, okay, which buildings should I be showing? Because I'm not going to be showing you a building that has 0 rentals in them if you're looking to Airbnb. You know, you might have a building, hey, I want to live in a place, I don't want any transient activity going on. So no rentals whatsoever. So obviously I'm going to focus on a building that doesn't have that. So it's really important that you're communicating your wants and your desires on what is this purchase for. Is it for you? Is it an investment? Is it to get your feet wet into the market? And then your realtor can help you really hone in on the best product for you. And there is something for everybody. And I always say this, what's good for me may not good for you. And our founder in Maurizio Umansky, he always has this, the example of when you go to Baskin & Robbins, there's 31 flavors. And I might like pistachio, you might like chocolate. Somebody else might want pistachio and chocolate. So it's important that you work with someone who will get to know what you want. So I like to always, get to know a little bit about you before we start working together, because what's my starting point? Well, I want a place in South Florida. Okay. Well, what do you want? Do you want a condominium? Do you want a single family home? Are you looking for a townhome? Are you looking for Airbnb? What are you looking for? So getting to know each other is really, really, really important in order to make sure that we're getting what you want. And your wants and desires might change. So you might buy something today saying, you know what, I want this product. And then you get in there and you think, gosh, it's not really for me. That's okay. You could either keep that, rent it out, or put it back on the market and find something else, because our desires and interests and wants and needs, they change as life changes. So I'll give you a personal example. Before 2020, I've always wanted to live, in a downtown, the hustle and bustle, blah, 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 blah. And I just, woo! Now, that's not what I'm looking for anymore. When I want hustle and bustle, I'm getting in my car and I'm driving to the hustle and bustle. So my interests have changed. I've changed. And that therefore my living environment may want to change. And the beauty of real estate is it's okay to want whatever you want. And if you want to change, work with your realtor, get to know them and say, hey, you know what, Ange? I thought I wanted this. I've changed my mind. Can you help me put this back on the market? And let's get something else. And it is okay. The most important thing is establishing those relationships and making sure you understand what you want before you invest. And even if you invest and you change your mind, understand the products that you're going to be buying, whether it's a condominium. And there are lots of homeowner communities that have homeowner association. And a homeowners association basically is if you have a single family home and you live in a community that has an association, they will have rules and regulations that are part of the homeowners, instead of condominium docs, are going to be homeowners documents. So understand that in South Florida, there are several single family home that have rules and regulations. So there's nothing to be worried about. It's just understanding what they are, how they affect you, and is this the right product for you? So I hope that I have shed a little bit of information for you on rules and regulations, which was our second segment. I'm going to hold off on the milestone section that I was going to do. And I'm going to see if I can get an engineer to talk. I've worked with engineers in the past, and I love listening to them because there's so much great information that comes out of that. So let's see if I can get someone to hop on with me on that. So I'm going to do my next segment. So this is going to be number 3 because we've already done 2. My next segment is going to be on absentee owner. And what does that mean for you? What should you do? And the options that are out there to help you. Hope you've enjoyed this. If you have any topics that you want to hear about, give me a call, DM me, whether it's on Instagram or on Facebook, send me a message here. And I always love positivity, and it's really important to me to always keep positive. If there's anything negative, let's turn it into what we call constructive criticism, because there's so much room in the world to share love and light and positivity. So let's work together. And thank you for tuning in to my second segment that was called Rules and Regulations. See you next week on my absentee owner. Ciao.